There is a storm on the horizon. They say it follows a ship rigged with black sails. They'll destroy anyone who stands in between them and their hunt for gold. Have mercy on your soul if you ever run into these buccaneers. Run him down to David Jones' locker.
Yeah, this the home of the Bucs.
Home of the Bucs.
For all them cannons. Watch how my city turn up. We gotta do something. It's levels to this. We got love it with us. They tell me we finally got it. I feel like we did it. And love it, we
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Buck and Blake Sports live on BucsReport.com. Man, it was a rough one. Bucs fall to the Titans on the road again, 23-27, in a very controversial game, being the usual, dealing with refs and calls and inadvertent whistles and things of that nature. But it's a Bucs life, as they say, you know. But I am your host, Blake Anthony, and this is Buck and Blake Sports. Make sure to check out all the great shows that are here on BucsReport.com, and those shows would be Cannon Fire Podcast, Buck Ball Podcast, Real Bucs Talk, the Red Flag Podcast, Buck What You Heard, Fantasy and Flavors, the Sports Web by Peter Blake, and Thursday Night Live with Charles Richardson. Please make sure to check all those shows out here on BucsReport.com throughout the week and the weekend, as we all working hard while doing this and doing our normal daily stuff, as you guys are when you're driving to work or doing that, whatever you guys got to do in your daily lives. That's just, I guess, the way the ball rolls, you know. So you're gonna hear today. You're gonna hear from Bruce Arians. You're gonna hear from Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul, Ryan Jensen, and those guys, and we're gonna talk as it goes. Today is post game to the game. Friday will be with pre-game to the next game on the road to Seattle Seahawks, and see how that goes. And pretty much that's what's going to go on now. So with that being said, before we get into everything, let's just hear from our sponsor before we get into our routine.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast. Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand, every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot more. At
Life's a Beach Realty. contact them guys. If you got your lady, special somebody, and you want to get out to those, make sure to check that out and contact that number. And reach out to Al Keck when he's on here with Peter, giving the true Hollywood stories of Al Keck. So let's get into breakdown of the stats of that game. Winston, 21 for 43, 2 touchdowns, 2 turnovers. Bruce Arians has something to say about that. Ryan Tannehill went 21 for 33, 193, and 3 touchdowns. 2 of those were short fields. Bucs rushing, 8 for 53. That's the who had the most yards, and that was Jameis as well. Henry went 16 for 75. Evans led the receiving day with 11 for 198 and 2 touchdowns. Shaq Barrett, Carl Nassib, and Jason Pierre-Paul all had sacks today. Welcome back, Jason Pierre-Paul. It's good to see you back and healthy and being able to play. David led the way with 12 tackles, and White was right under him with 6. I'm going to give a shout-out to T.J. Logan and special teams. We got 40-yard return. Ryan Smith showing up big on special teams again. And we'll get to some other stuff later on as we go on. But let's hear from Bruce Arians, and then we'll just keep talking from there as I get to you guys' comments. I'll be commenting with you in the box, and we'll just go from there. Here you go.
Hurry up.
Is that your best sprint? Is that your best sprint?
No, I'm about a 7-8 guy.
Oh, okay. You can get that?
We need it. Now I'm hurting myself.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody ready? Again, not to beat a dead horse, but an inadvertent whistle. If we have this last 3 minutes and some change with a 3-point lead and win the game, I think everybody is writing different stories, talking different things. So it was more than just a play. And, everybody except one guy saw the ball out and blew a quick whistle. And my biggest thing is, referees aren't held accountable. Coaches get fired, general managers get fired, players get cut. Referees aren't accountable. And it's a shame. It's been that way for 40 years, and now that we got a new agreement, it'll be that way for 40 more years. On the game itself, again, turnovers early in the ball game, poor red zone offense and poor red zone defense, poor coaching in some of those situations also, especially offensively. The 3rd down and 5 play, we screwed that play up in practice. We fixed it. We liked the play. I should have vetoed that play. The 4th and 1 play. Again, that's on me, not on Byron. That's on me. To have a better chance of being successful in those 2 situations, those are both on me. Defensively, we play our front 7. I don't know if they can play any better. They're playing outstanding. We got out of our gap one time and gave up a run. I think he had 72 yards and 2 of them were for 50 yards. We're pressuring the quarter. We're doing everything we can on the front end, on the front 7. Our back end was good at times, and then we don't play the right technique a couple of times. And those are things that have been a problem, and we're going to get them corrected. And I know we'll get them corrected. Again, when I look at the number of missed assignments in the game, after totally making that a point of emphasis in our off week and last week in practice, where they had disappeared, they show back up in the game. We've got to look at our preparation. We've got to look at our coaching. Are we teaching it properly? Something's not happening from Saturday to Sunday. And to take our base run and run it against a front that we saw every day in practice and not block it correctly is baffling to me. So, again, it starts with coaching. It starts with me. As far as anything else, everything that we're doing from right now is to beat Seattle.
Bruce, you
you mentioned the officiating initially there. Do you get any kind of explanation? I mean, the understanding we had is that they want to let plays go and not blow a whistle and allow review to correct things.
Exactly. That's the emphasis. Now, 2 out of 3 weeks for us, we get turnovers that we don't get. We've got a touchdown, we get a ball, we get the ball. Now, we still should have taken the ball and scored a touchdown, won the game. But instead, we should have won the game already or had a chance to win it. In New Orleans, I was told to challenge it because they saw us with a clear – they knew we had the ball. But when you go back to replay, it wasn't a clear recovery. So it's like and again, it was an inadvertent whistle. So, yeah, why does it continue? Since the Rams-Saints game, the second week, when the Saints got the touchdown that they didn't get, there's been an emphasis on letting plays go. If you can answer why it's not happening, I don't know.
You mentioned the 4th and 1. Was that just not blocked properly, or was Jensen just sort of overpowered by the...
It wasn't blocked properly, and we didn't get to the Mike linebacker. And, again, part of it was design, part of it was the play, part of it was our execution of it, and I'll take it for that one.
Bruce, you mentioned the play of the front seven. Devin White makes that big play on the field goal. It seemed like he made some big key plays. Are you seeing him start to kind of, and I know he's just coming back from injury, but starting to kind of develop that's sideline to sideline ability that you guys drafted?
Yeah, I mean, the injury hurt him. It set him back pretty good, but he's starting to he had a couple blitzes he could have gone, and he held up a little bit, but he's getting better and better.
Coach, in the first touchdown the Titans scored, it looked like Vernon Hargreaves was trying to get Carlton Davis's attention. A little miscommunication there, left Smith open.
Yeah, we totally lined up wrong, and it started with our safety who didn't cover the right guy, and that led to 3 guys talking back and forth, and the ball snapped.
Just Devontae Davis slid over and covered the slot.
On the first touchdown, it was just poor communication. Yeah.
I know you put, like, you have these accountability charts and mental mistakes and all the errors go up on the board. I mean, this is not obviously you've coached a long time and coached it the right way for a long time. But it's details, right? I mean, you can't have a ball snap before the quarterback's ready off the face mask. You can't have, the handoff to Perriman go that way. I mean, is that what's really...
Yeah, so it's 3 or 4 plays.
Simple plays, not the complicated things, but...
Yeah, it's very simple plays. I mean, that's the frustrating play for me, is how am I not getting it across? Why is this not getting across? Because I've seen it get across for a long time, and for whatever reason, it ain't happening, and we got to find out why.
Could it be that, and I'm not pointing any specific player, but you can't win with guys that don't get it, right? I mean, like, you have to have smart players.
That helps. But again, I've had guys that struggled, but they had so much pride that they would not be up there. They would not be on that sheet. But they struggled to learn, but they wouldn't be on that sheet.
Bruce, you talked yesterday about trade deadline and your focus on winning now and not doing anything to hurt that. Other teams, obviously, the Falcons are dealing away receivers. The Dolphins traded away a running back today. Do you just, there's that tough balance between the short term and the long term, I guess. You want to keep this team as close to winning as you can right now.
Yes, and if there's a trade that helps us win right now, or if it's price is right, the deal's real, trade for the help in the future, then yeah. But it's all about winning, and winning as many games as we can. Because when you sell the farm, you don't know what you're buying next year anyway, and you're playing with a bunch of young guys that have to learn how to play again.
Bruce, that fourth quarter, you mentioned how they clouded Mike more, they covered Mike more in the fourth quarter. When you look at 12 passes in the fourth quarter and none of them go to Evans, 4 of them go to Perriman in the last 4 minutes, is that more the play calling? Is that Winston not wanting to throw when he's well covered? Where would you say?
Well, yeah, you don't throw into double coverage, but no, just because it's covered too doesn't mean Mike's covered. All right, there were some passes. Now he hit Chris when Mike was open, so. As a quarterback, you take what they give you, but there are times, like we tried to move Mike around to get him open, and we didn't get the ball to him.
The running back usage. We heard a lot about Ronald Jones spring, summer, had more than 70 yards 3 of the first 4 games. It seems like he's not playing very much because you guys get into the third down offense, if you will, the pass-heavy offense. Is that to his detriment that he's not involved in that more because he's only getting 15, 20 plays a game?
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten much better at blitz pickup, and we've talked about it. He's improved each week, which should get him more snaps. But as far as 2-minute, Darius one of the best ones that we have as far as know who to block and how to block them. So, yeah, but I think Ronald's going to have a hell of a future.
The best players always are going to get the most attention on defense, right? That's no surprise. And Mike has been double covered before and covered 2 and all those things. Is it just kind of like on you guys to design ways so that you can't let the defense take away your...
Yeah, you can't just leave him back there. You got to move him over, get him in the middle, which there were probably 8 or 9 snaps of that, somewhere in there. But, maybe you don't catch cover 2, then all of a sudden it's man-to-man and he's doubled some other way. But, yeah, you can't force balls to guys, but you can still, as a coach, get them open.
Bruce, how tough a call is it early in the fourth quarter? You had a 4th and 1 at the Titans 43. You have the lead at that point. You have control of the game. To decide to punt in plus territory, how tough is that decision?
Yeah, no, it's not tough at all. You got a 3-point lead. Now, if you got a 7-point lead, but a 3-point lead, no. I mean, you're 2 first downs from a tie. Punt it down, and Man Pinion did a great job. Our special teams, I thought, we started at the 1, the 8, the 10. T.J. Logan is what I thought he'd be. And he made the best of his opportunity, and he'll keep doing it as a cover guy and as a returner. So, yeah, our special teams, I thought, won the battle for us. We just not doing a good job of backed-up football, holding them down there. That one little play out, a 3rd down and 4, 3rd down and 6. That's where we got to improve. And then we get the ball back at the 50. And with short fields, we've been really good offensively at turning them into touchdowns.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys.
Bruce Arians is so long-winded, getting everything out. I like the way he talks. He talks straightforward, doesn't really beat around the bush, says what he says without getting fined or getting in trouble, and gets the point across to us people that are watching him. But if you're just tuning in, welcome to BucsReport.com, and I'm your host, Blake Anthony with Buck and Blake Sports, as you see up here as I do my Vanna White. You can hit me up all my social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, IG, and my email. You can email, you send videos of stuff you want to talk about or audio, and I'll play it. If you guys don't feel comfortable putting yourself on video, you can send me audio. I should have the lines up soon. Not today. I'm having little issues with it right now. I want to make sure it's perfected before I get you guys on here and hear your beautiful voices, so you don't have to just hear mine all the time, even though it is my show. But you know how that goes. We also got Jensen. You guys are going to hear from Jensen. You're going to hear from JPP. And you're going to hear from Shaq Barrett today. You guys are lighting it up in the comment section there. I'm trying to talk to you guys as that's going on. And I know you guys probably done seen the poll in there about should you cut Perriman or not. I myself think he's no good here. He looked like a guy who hasn't played in weeks. He looks like a guy who wasn't here all off season that was here. I just have no idea what he was thinking on that. On the other part, when he came across and blew up Dare, that part was on Winston for not setting him over in time. But Perriman's just got to have common sense to know that you see the running back there. Why don't you just stop running and let him run by you? I mean, I know it was supposed to be a jet sweep, and they're supposed to think you're getting a handoff, and then he's supposed to run right under you or whatever, how you're supposed to do that. But there was a couple times that Perriman was on motions. He really didn't look like he knew what he was doing. He looked like he hadn't been paying attention at all. But that's the way the cookie crumbles when you pick from the bottom of the barrel and you can't get guys in here because you're in salary cap hell and can't do things like that. So let me go down here to the chat box a little bit before we move on to our next speaker on here. We'll stick with, I guess, offense so far for now. We'll go to Jensen next. What's going on? Misador, Andre Davis. Attention to details. For key players, that's what our organization needs to work on. Simple things and watch, which is our Achilles heels. Definitely for that. Ari Moses, maybe we be good next year. I'm like Arians. I ain't trying to wait till next year. It's not guaranteed. Somebody could go down injured, and then you're screwed. Isidore talking back now. Matt Colston will be top 10 again. There will be a blue chip O lineman. Hopefully you can find somebody. I mean, the best way to do it is to find guys in the later rounds and build them up. And then when they're due to get paid, you can let them go out and get overpaid by somebody else and just keep redoing the cycle. I know I've said this over years and years ago. You got to build off some type of farming system here to keep players here so we don't have to overspend, like on i.e. Ryan Jensen, the highest paid center in the league, and gives up the behind on the 4th and 1 play, and you get shoved in the back by, another veteran player in Jarrell Casey that we all knew about coming into this game. Isidore, these reporters are soft. You should hear Chicago post games. Well, that's Chicago. New York, they're very outspoken, in those cities. Deshaun Tisdale, Perriman clearly didn't know what he was doing, and Scotty is not as fast as he is said to be. He doesn't seem to get separation, and that's the key part in the league. And I think that Deshaun as well as everybody else. I mean, speed isn't everything. You just got to know how to create separation. I mean, that's really all I can say is you got to know how to do that, and a lot of guys don't. They think it's just the ability to speed, and you're just going to get away from people. It works sometimes, but not all the time. Isidore, I'm waiting for that alert that says Bucs traded. Traded who? Nobody wants anything from us. Nobody wants Perriman. They'll just wait for us to he'll become a free agent. I know you're probably not talking about that, but I'm just saying. Unless you're talking about O.J. Howard. Matt Colston, Isidore. I was trying to get some new people because you guys are always here, bringing the thunder and the fire. So let's move on to Ryan Jensen. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Buck and Blake Sports live on BucsReport.com every Monday and Friday, giving you the post game and pre-game. Here we are, Ryan Jensen.
Yeah, that's something we always preach is scoring when we get in the red zone, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. And we weren't good enough today.
Ryan, we're live here on the Bucs Radio Network. As a veteran player, how do you hold things together when things are going tough as they are right now?
That's just something we have to do. That's what we're paid to do. We're paid to go out and win football games, and right now we got to figure out a way to win games.
All right, again,
It felt like a bit of a slow start out there for you guys. So what was it, do you feel like, did it feel like kind of a slowness coming off the bye week, or what did it feel like at the beginning?
It's just we came out and I felt I played flat early in the game, and I didn't play well, which really is, I'm pretty upset about that. I'm pretty mad at myself about that. Coming off a bye week and feeling fresh, and coming out and laying an egg essentially for myself. But I think we knew what they were going to do, what defense they were going to run, and we just didn't execute.
Ryan, I'm sorry if I'm asking you something again. Just the snap early where James was looking aside, was that just an early snap?
Yeah, that's all 100% on me.
Ryan, thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, the center of your offensive line is supposed to be the QB of the offensive line. Just had a brain fart in the game and cost the Bucs a turnover and cost a touchdown. That gets thrown on Jameis Winston when it was not on him, but I think Arian said that himself. He said not one of the turnovers was on him. If he's throwing the ball where somebody's supposed to throw them the ball, they got to be there. Just like it's his job to get it there on time. I don't know, like Chris Godwin, I guess, and them were off page this week, I guess, with the game plan. This looked like a lot of miscommunication on offense and defense at some points in the game. But, those things happen, and you got to try to survive from them and not, get turnovers out of it. But I don't know. It seems like we say the same thing every week when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of inconsistency and lack of communication. You got rid of some players where you thought that was the issue, but that doesn't seem to be the issue. It seems to be continuing. So again, you have to ask: is it really the players, or what is it exactly? So you have to fix the issue. You can, like you said, sell the farm, and then you're starting right back over, trying to rebuild everything and coach everybody all over again. And there's no guarantees that works as well. Same thing goes, with the quarterback situation or whatever. I think you got the right pieces here. It's just you have to find ways to win instead of finding ways to lose. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Buck Buck and Blake Sports live on BucsReport.com. I am Blake Anthony, your host, and we are talking about the post game to the Titans versus Bucs. Bucs fall 23-27 up there in Nashville. So Bucs fall to 2-6. I was going to say 3-5, 2-6, and another disappointing loss. Referees kind of called an inadvertent whistle that would have put the go-ahead score to the game. It is what it is, I kind of get used to that now, especially when it comes to something like that. It was a great play by Devin White, starting to get his legs under him a little bit, even after the knee injury, making a great hit on the holder and making him fumble and picking it up. But unfortunately for us, we were misfortunate that we didn't get the score out of that. So I don't know what to say about it. I think Bruce Arians said enough already about the way they put emphasis on just letting it play out, because there's nothing wrong with letting that play out and then just coming, because all scoring reviews and turnovers are reviewed anyway. So you just let it go and then you figure it out later. There's no risk. There's no pressure on the ref to either blow it dead or whatever on that situation. You got a replay in the bag anyway. So it just sucks that it ends up being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that fall on the short end of the stick on that one. Let me check here with the comment section. Isidore, in our secondary, we can tell that they don't work all together. There is no trust, no confidence. That is why you will see teams using crossing and run routes in the confined space. Yep. You saw Vernon Hargreaves trying to tell people to get over, and they were just standing there like they knew what they were doing and give up an easy touchdown. Matt Colson, 29 coaches for 53 players. We should be tighter than a Navy SEAL team. Yes, we do have a bunch of coaches. I think one of the plethora of coaches on this coaching staff. If it's 29 to be exact, I think we talked about that at the beginning of the year when Bruce Arians wanted to put emphasis on that. So, Isidore, Ari Moses, maturity. Look at Godwin and Evans are usually on the same page. Usually, sometimes it happens, miscommunication. Whatever verbiage you wanted to use for that particular game, I guess, or the look that you were supposed to do a certain route. It happens. It's just unfortunate that it was a turnover. That's why you see sometimes QBs in other games as well throw the ball in the empty space because somebody was supposed to be there. Somebody was supposed to go out, but he ran in. And those things happen. Deshaun Tisdale, like he owned his SHIT. It was my fault, not the QB. I watched Jameis, and he didn't throw him under the bus, and Jameis never has done that. So Jameis usually takes the brunt of all the punishment and verbal abuse from fans and media. Well, because that sells. The fans are attracted to that stuff because I guess they just don't want Winston here anymore, or they just want to see change, just to see our names in the headlines that we made a trade or we drafted another quarterback. I don't know, whatever your reason is. As I said before, and I'll say again, I said you can change out quarterbacks if that's what you want to do, but you didn't fix anything anywhere else. So you're just putting a new guy in the same situation. So, I mean, if that works for you, go for it, bud. I'll be here just to talk about it. Teddy Day, stop bashing Winston. He played hard and found Evans deep. I'm so sick of you fake fans. I don't know. I don't like to call people fake. They just want to see a change. They want to see some type of change. And I can understand where they come from. I can understand. And that's fine being upset about a loss and this, that, and that. And as soon as somebody loses, you want to find the first thing to blame, and that's what you stick to. But like I said, they're entitled. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But you got to fix long elongated issues that you continually let drag out. We keep saying for the past 5-6 seasons that we need to fix the issues on the O-line, but we've yet to do that. In every draft that comes up, we find a way to want to get something else than to fix the issues, and then we can move on to the next thing. I'm going to keep beating the dead horse. I don't know how you let John Lynch get out of here and run over there to San Francisco. And the first thing he does is buys a quarterback from New England and builds the offense and defensive line, spending mostly a majority of his picks on the front seven and the front offensive line. His tenure there. He got lucky with getting rid of Reuben Foster and having Quan Alexander walk over, so he didn't have to draft another linebacker. So I mean, he's done what you should have done, what we should have done. You protect your quarterback and get after the quarterback. And now look at him now, just blew out the Carolina Panthers, but 50 burger on the board. So I mean, it's still not too late to fix these mistakes. You just got to start somewhere and continuously continue to build. Carlos Reyes. Carlos Winston is a bad quarterback, period. He isn't the only problem, but he is definitely part of the problem. Well, Carlos, that's what Arian said. If one person doesn't do one thing, it's a domino effect. You can't do, if somebody's not open, then you can't throw it to him. If you can't block, you can't get the ball to him. It's a collective thing. Yeah, he's had his issues where he's forced to passes, but a lot of QBs do as well. Unfortunate enough, we're not good enough to come back and win these type of games because it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they can't just find ways to win. They find ways to lose. Matt Colston is in Jameis post-game presser. He was smoking hot. Really, rarely see that emotion side. I liked seeing that. Well, he's a winner, and he was on the sideline saying, "We're gonna win. You got to believe." And he's always fighting. The problem has been is he's usually the only one still trying to fight without a couple others that are trying. And that's been an issue when you paying free agents that don't care. They know they're going somewhere else, so they're just here to collect that check and then just move on to their next chapter in their football career. Deshaun Tisdale says, we must have better safeties other than Adams at this point. Show me a younger players. All these reps are quality. I hate to see them wasted on a basic veteran. Alex Fleming, welcome to the show. Host of Fantasies and Flavors. And let's move on to the next thing. If you're just tuning in, this is Buck and Blake Sports live on BucsReport.com every Monday and Friday, doing post-game and pre-game. Let's hear from Shaq Barrett.
We did decent out there. We just got to work on eliminating the big plays. We know it's hard for a team to come drive down the whole 80 yards on the 75 yards on. So we just got to eliminate the big plays and penalties, and we'll be able to be all right. But we just got to do it now because we've been talking about the same stuff and we ain't get it done yet. So we got to get it done now.
What happened? I like how he said that. We've been talking about the same stuff and haven't got it done yet. And that's pretty much the issue, what the problem is. But you can't get rid of certain players because you don't have anything else to replace them. Then you got to recoach new guys that you're just putting in the system. Like I said, it's a collective thing that you got to have players and young guys and reserves that you can sub in. And I expect Ryan Smith to be playing here in the near future if whoever Bruce Arians is talking about is not playing the right technique. Maybe it's Carlton Davis on the out route to Brown that gave the Titans the go-ahead score. I watched that play continuously when the play happened. I said he's throwing this ball to Brown. If you know you're a corner and you have inside coverage, you had a safety and you had Carl Nassib drop in the inside for the inside route or the slant. So you automatically already know that you have outside leverage. You have outside leverage, but you have inside help, so you don't have to worry about it in route. Instead, you take bad step and let the receiver get a little push off on you and got outside and you made an easy catch for a touchdown. It's just you just got to know where your help is and where you can be aggressive at without worrying about the repercussions of getting beat. And you had a pass over top of him earlier in the end zone to Sharp, I believe, where he was in position. He pulled up too early to swat the ball away, and Sharp was able to fall in the end zone for a touchdown. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe he thought he could get to it. I don't know. You have to ask him. He doesn't have any interviews on here to talk about it, and he probably don't want to talk about it. Well, yeah, he did have an interview. He said when Arians called it out, he said he's not here to go back and forth. He's here to play football. Granted, that's true. That's fine. But you got to take the good with the bad. You lead the team. I don't know if it's the league still in penalties on the defense, with all the holding and pass interference penalties, especially 2 today. They helped the Titans drive the ball down the field. I don't know. Something's got to give. He did have those 2 picks, but both of them were both called. I think one was 2 penalties, one roughing the passer, and the other one was a pass interference. And then the other one was just a pass interference. So, what's going on, Dustin Lang? What's going on, cuz? Little Nettles. It ain't Jameis Winston. It's that sorry line. Oh, you've been watching the Bucs. I see you. Dusty Lang, I say we tank for Burrow. Let's trade Jameis right now for some Halloween candy. I say we trade Jameis. Okay. Heard today that Perriman is due $4 million. Perriman is not worth $1. Yeah, that's pretty bad. He said not $1 or Halloween candy. Yes, Perriman looked like he had not been there in weeks. He looked like he had not picked up a playbook and remembered verbiage and where he's supposed to be at. He looks like he lacked the knowledge, the football IQ to know to get your feet in bounds and make a catch. He looked like he can only do one and not the other. He said, let me make sure to make this catch, but I'm going to forget all about my feet. Then after you make the catch, you look down at your feet. That's why you set your feet first, then make the catch, unless you're diving, of course. But then that's why you're dragging the toes. You practice that thing all the time. But it's Rashard Perriman. He hasn't been the same since UCF, excuse me. We got one more on here, and Jason Pierre-Paul. I love to hear from him because he's another guy that speaks his mind and gets straight to the point. And he shows a lot of raw emotion. He's a true leader. And Bruce Arians said he didn't have to say one thing in the post game because all the leaders spoke for it. So it looks like these players are trying to hold each other accountable, and they're tired of the certain individuals getting beat or whatever it is, and they got to change it. I mean, he can beat a dead horse, but eventually the players have to play. The coach can call the right play. You have to execute. You can't just get beat. It's not the call all the time. You just got beat. Man on man. It was 1-on-1. You got shoved 3 yards in the backfield. I'm just using Jensen as an example right now. And same thing like Carlton Davis. When you just getting beat. It has nothing to do with the call. It's you versus the offensive player, or is it you versus the defensive player? It's man on man, big on big. Who's going to make that play? Who wants it more? As the great Al Pacino said, it's the guy that's willing to die that's going to win that inch. That's the truth. Here we go again. Oh, Dustin Lane's going on. JPP as a dog. Our secondary needs to step it up. Perhaps we make a trade for Patrick Peterson. Don't have the money and don't have anything of value to trade to them besides draft picks. And Lord knows we need all our draft picks. We can't afford to give away nothing. Nothing at all. Because we got to get out of salary cap hell. Speaking of JPP, let's get into it.
Make a big play. I mean, just personally, how did it feel to get back out there and contribute immediately?
I felt like my old self. Just doing my job. That's it.
Coach said you're asking for more plays.
Yep. Feel like I could have been out there even more. But, each his own, man. I got to wait my turn. Hopefully next week is a whole different week, learn more plays and, I'll be out there. I should be out there next week, so.
Was there a feeling of wanting to prove to either other people or to yourself that you were going to be the same version of yourself as before?
Not at all. No, everybody's different. I know myself, and, if you know yourself, you don't have to worry about anything, so.
Jason, you guys get a 6-point lead there late in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You give up a long drive for a long drive for a
Yep.
touchdown. How tough is it to let
It's very tough, and we know exactly how that long drive happened, all those drives. We just got to go back and look at the film and, execute it well. That should have been a game we should have won, and it would have helped us out tremendously. Now we on the verge, we can't lose any games. I'm just coming back, so, that's my first loss, really. I don't like to lose, and I'm going to do everything in my part not to lose this next game.
Now that you played a real game with this team, how does this defense feel?
It feels great. Besides the, mistakes that we have, we just got to clear those out and we'll figure it out, we know our defense solid up front, and we got the guys, the talent to need to do what we need to do. Obviously, you see it out there. Just we didn't finish. We was capable of holding them down, and the offense was supposed to go down and win the game, but obviously that didn't happen. But we're gonna work everything out and go in Monday and see what's the deal. Like I said, I don't really like to lose, and I'm very frustrated. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and we got to move on to the next. You can't hold on to the loss.
Nothing you can do about, obviously, getting pinned on the short field after a couple of turnovers, but how did you see this defense kind of responding and stepping up?
I think we responded very well to what we hold them at and how the game finished with defense, and I think we hold them pretty well. It's just that, like I say, I'm gonna say I know a lot of guys upset, that the game we didn't win the game. That's the main goal. The main goal is to win the game. We don't care how you do it, just win the game, and that's what we didn't do. If we're trying to get to the playoffs, we need to win next week, and then the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that. So that's it.
Well said, JPP. Well said. Just win the game. Just win, baby. Just win. Again, if you're just tuning in to Buck and Blake Sports live on BucsReport.com, recapping the Titans versus the Buccaneers. Buccaneers fall 23-27, 2-6 on the season. There's still hope. There's still hope. They got to keep fighting. You got to dig it out. You got to dig it out. To get double-digit wins at least for the season. Please. Please. We got to fight. Yeah, like he said, it's his first loss of the season. He's going to find every way possible. Bucs did renegotiate his contract, so he's a free agent at the end of the season. Hopefully we can keep a guy like him here at a reasonable price, not at $13 million. And you can keep building on this defensive line. So you have to put so much emphasis on drafting another defensive line if you let Jason Pierre-Paul go. I would like to keep your own players here and keep continuity here and just keep bringing in an influx of younger players on the defensive line. So when these older players, it's time to go, the younger guys will be ready to rock and roll. That's why it was important we got Shaq Barrett. That's why it was important we got Carl Nassib. And that's why it was important we drafted Vita Vea. But you had veteran mix in there with Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul. But those guys aren't long-term fixes, but they definitely help, and they definitely still getting production. He's definitely still getting quality production out of them. So, but we got to keep rotating that in, and we got to do that same thing on the offensive side of the ball as well. Matt Costa playoffs. He's talking about playoffs. We need to figure out how to win a game. Isidore, shit in one hand, hope in another. Tell me which one feels first. Not sure, man. Maybe at the same time. JPP's a good player, but I think he's gone from this team 2 seasons. Number one, his scheme is not really a fit for him, though. He can play it. Number two, he can get paid a couple million next year. True. Irvin Holiday just tuning in. What's your evaluation of Jason Light up to this point? I feel that he has failed as an organization. Irwin, it's a 50-50 thing. What he hasn't done well in the draft, he has done great in free agency, and that's where he's done well at, is picking up guys that's either been cut or picking up free agency guys. Like Shaq Barrett is at 10 sacks for the season, got a $250,000 bonus for that 10th sack. That is the second bonus that he got from previous. I think it was seven sacks or something like that, or 8 sacks that he got a bonus for, and then got more for 10. So he's made $500,000 in bonuses thus far at the midpoint of the season. So that was a great steal there. And Carl Nassib as well, working his way up the sacks number, working his way up to, he'll probably finish about 7 for the year, which is fine. You're getting production. You got Sue in here. You got JPP via trade. Hopefully we can keep doing that, and like I said, fix offensive line and keep an influx of defensive line players in here for that. But I get what you're saying as him as far as a GM, and then he brought in Bruce Arians, a well-established coach, coach that is respected by players, to get people in here. So it goes with two things, kind of takes the load off of Light. Arians is also going to have his say in players that he needs here as well. I don't know just where the leash ends at. Well, who actually picks up the players in the draft? Would it be Light or would it be Arians? I'm sure Todd Bowles will throw in his 2 cents, and everybody else will. That's just how you do it. That's why it's called the War Room in the draft day. Let's move to the comments. I had something I couldn't remember. So give them OJ. I mean, Jason Light. You got Tanner Hudson, missed a touchdown pass in there. I thought he would reel in. So they're getting a field goal down there, and that was another part. The red zone was horrendous. We put up touchdowns in all those situations. We're not even in that predicament at the end of the game. How is Evans going to get 0 targets in the fourth quarter? Well, we do it now, but unlike previous years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if certain players killing you, you make adjustments on defense to stop that. Evans was hardly shut down with 11 receptions for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns. Should have had 3. He missed a touchdown pass in the earlier drive at the beginning of the game, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. So they stopped him by far, did not. 11 receptions for 198 yards. Isidore, okay, I got to that. How's everything? Okay, we talked about that. Get Moj. Look for young to old, and QB keeps getting hit. We'll make his clock speed up. That's the importance of getting pressure on your defensive line. It speeds up the clock in the quarterback's head. And that was a discussion too about Arians taking over. He did say he should have vetoed. He has the ability to do that, and there's been twice where he didn't veto. No, he said he called one play that was bad, but he should have vetoed the other one. You got to trust your offensive coordinator. That's what you're supposed to do. And then if it gets to the point where it's really, really bad, then you got to step over. I mean, thus far, Leftwich has called some pretty decent plays. You can't just get mad because we lost and just say his play calling's bad. When you've seen some really nice plays, get some big yardage, remember he calls those too, just not the ones that you want to highlight at the end of the games or when we lose, because maybe it was a bad call, but maybe the guy just didn't handle his business and the guy got beat. Yet there's a line in that. And it's just execution. That's the best way to say it, is execution. It's the right call, was executed poorly. We got to all that. I don't have much more. I will see you guys Friday for the pregame to the Seattle Seahawks. We'll have tape and stuff and see what's going on with Russell Wilson and these young players on that offense, and wide receivers, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, etc., and Russell Wilson running around in circles making plays happening, and Carson, the running back, and of course the new Seattle Seahawks defense. So, willingness, as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless, and fire those cannons.
There is a storm on the horizon. They say it follows a ship rigged with black sails. They'll destroy anyone who stands in between them and their hunt for gold. Have mercy on your soul if you ever run into these buccaneers. Run them down to David Jones' locker.